guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So, John Riggs just did a video with Brett Weiss talking about the 5 Atari 2600 games he would like to see ported on the NES. I guess whether it would have been during the day, if it would have been on the NES, or even if today, if someone were to make like a homebrew, that would be cool too. I liked his list, and I liked the choice that Brett Weiss made. In fact, some of my choices would have actually been their choice, but since they already chose those two, I decided I'm going to come up with my own list, and ones that are different from the ones that they chose. So the one that I'm glad that neither one of them said was Keystone Capers. Now, this was one of my favorite games for the Atari 2600. It still is one of my more favorite games. It's an Activision title. I think I have a bunch of Activision titles here. Activision always made great titles, always made great games for the Atari, and I've talked about this before, obviously, on my channel. But Keystone Capers was the reason why I bought an Atari. And I got my Atari late in the cycle. I got mine in the, sometime in the early 90s, I believe, is when I picked up the Atari 2600 Junior, because I saw this game and I really wanted it. I don't know why I was drawn into this game, but I just think on the Nintendo, they could do a lot more with this. I know it was ported onto the Atari 5200, and it was pretty much just a clone of the game, just a little bit updated graphics. I think this is something you could really explore with more levels, more malls to go through, more different obstacles. I think you could really go far with this game and actually make a pretty cool version of this on the Nintendo. The next one, and kind of on the similar concept, and also Activision, would be Hero. This game also was ported onto a bunch of other systems, and I think that there's so much you could do and explore with this character. Going down into the caves, going after the shooting down the walls, blasting them with your dynamite, shooting the spiders and stuff. Sure, this game had a lot going on, but I think you could dig a lot deeper. I think you can go into explore into a lot more areas. You could create rooms that are dark. You could have different items you could select. I think you could do a whole lot with this and make it a lot deeper, a lot further down. Really interesting game for its time, really above its, when it came out. I think this was one of those games where it just blew people away when they got it. Hero is a great game. My first actual playing of this game was on the Commodore 64, and I loved it. I was surprised to find out that it actually started out on the Atari 2600. So Hero would be my second choice. Another one that's kind of a interesting title, interesting game, and that's Crackpots. This is another Activision title. This was programmed by Dan Kitchen. I did a interview with him on my channel a little while ago, and we kind of talked about some of the games that he created. But this one's just, it's got that real Atari feel to it. And essentially you got the guy at the top dropping the pots of flowers, potted plants, onto these spiders as they climb up the building and go into the windows, and then they eat away at the building. Again, you can go into so many different areas with this, different kinds of buildings. You can have different kinds of enemies. The way you control the character, going back and forth. Maybe he can, climb down a bit and do some more extra stuff. Maybe go onto the windowsills and grab the pots and throw them. There's so many things you could do, and it's such a classic game for the Atari. So that would be number 3. Number 4, again, this one kind of went above and beyond what a lot of Atari titles could do. This was a later release. This is Secret Quest, and I have talked about this one a little bit. I always kind of like to refer to this as a very similar game to something along the lines of Zelda's gameplay. More when you're in the labyrinth and stuff. How you're going from room to room, you get a sword, you have to beat enemies with it, and you gotta find power-ups and stuff like that. This game, it's actually pretty decent, but the detail in this game is not all there. I mean, some rooms, they just start to look the same because it's just very, just blocky, and it's got the same repeating colors throughout each room. A lot of rooms look the same. There's no detail. I think the Nintendo could have actually threw a whole bunch of detail on here, made it look like a dungeon, or made it look like a spaceship, or wherever this is actually supposed to be in. I forget the storyline on this one. But you are running around from room to room, and to have something very similar to this with a little bit more detail would have been pretty cool. And of course, this came out at the time when the Nintendo was popular, so I think it really could have been ported over. And the last one, and I don't know if you guys are going to be surprised by this one, E.T. This gets talked about quite a bit in the retro gaming community. I know a lot of people who slam this game, and I know a lot of people that love this game. I think this, the history behind this game is hilarious. Howard Scott Warshaw had to rush to get this thing into production, and he turned out what I think is a pretty amazing game. If you think about it, how little time he had, and the amount of thought he put into this. And I've said this before, he could have simply just made a Pac-Man clone where E.T.'s head has to go and eat Reese's Pieces. But he didn't do that. He wanted to incorporate the movie into the game. Now, of course, there's the pits and all that stuff that you fall into. There's some problems with hit detection and all that other crap. But, I mean, sure, it was a rushed game. If he had more time, I'm sure he would have been able to perfect this game and make it something else. And so I think the Nintendo could have taken this concept and really run with the whole E.T. concept, the whole theme, have more, levels where you're actually wandering around, doing more things. I think E.T. Could have actually done something. In fact, I know the Atari Creep has been really pushing for this to end up on the new Intellivision Amico one day. And, Tommy Tallarico kind of seems like he's like, yeah, it might happen, it might not. Wouldn't that be something? But we'll have to see. Throw your choices down below. Check out John Riggs' link and Brett Weiss's videos. Really cool guys. Hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.